welcome to lesson 5 of our animal transformation story. Today we're going to be planning our own version of the story Howl. But before we do that, I'd like you to once again listen to the story Howl and think about how you are going to magpie this story, what changes you are going to make, and then we'll come back and we will plan it. Howl. "Your turn to get the ball," cried Peter. "OK, don't go anywhere," replied Jack. Leaving the pitch and his friends, Jack entered the trees. It was shady and damp amongst the greenery. Nearby, a bird sang happily, and, somewhere close by, a stream gurgled gently. Slowly, he scanned his surroundings, but the ball was nowhere to be seen. "Where is it?" he asked himself in a frustrated voice. As Jack moved further into the small wood, his friends' voices faded. Suddenly, he felt a strange tingling sensation. His nose began to grow, his hands changed into paws, and fur sprouted all over his body. In less than a minute, Jack was on his knees, feeling very weird. Something peculiar had happened. Next, Jack tried to walk, but when he did, he used 4 legs instead of 2. Then he noticed his clothes were lying in a crumpled heap. Before he had time to think, his nose twitched. A million odours were wafting on the air. He could smell flowers, water. Who knew water had a smell? And other new, interesting things. Just then, something caught his eye. It was a puddle, and in it, staring back at him, was his reflection. But it wasn't the image of an 8-year-old boy. It was the reflection of a wolf. Panicking, Jack shrieked in shock, but in place of a boy's scream, he heard a loud, blood-curdling howl. Absolutely terrified, Jack ran as fast as he could. However, he hadn't realised just how powerful wolves are, because he shot out of the trees into the park and right onto the pitch where his friends were waiting. Everyone looked at the huge beast in amazement. "Peter, it's me, it's Jack," he cried. Although Jack thought he was speaking, all the children just heard snarling and growling. They thought they were about to be eaten alive. "Run for your lives," yelled Peter. Rapidly, Jack's friends and all the people in the park fled quicker than bullets. Before he could react, Jack heard the police sirens approaching fast. Then he heard a helicopter in the sky. "Attention, attention, leave the park. There is an escaped wolf on the loose," called a voice from a megaphone. As quick as a flash, Jack dashed back into the trees. His mind was racing and his heart was beating like a drum. What could he do? Then his super-sensitive ears heard men entering the trees and vicious barking. They had dogs with them. They were talking about shooting him with a tranquilizer gun so they could knock him out and take him to the zoo. "But I'm not from any zoo," he thought, panicking. Slowly but surely, the men and their dogs were approaching from all directions. He was trapped in the trees and had nowhere to go. Then he felt it once more, the tingling sensation. His ears and nose began to shrink, the fur disappeared from his body, and his tail vanished. He was a boy again. Luckily, the transformation happened right by his pile of clothes. As fast as he could, he threw them on, and in less than a minute he was dressed. "What are you doing in here, son?" asked a policeman. I lost my football," Jack answered nervously. "Haven't you heard? There's a wolf on the loose," said the policeman. "Really? That's news to me." "Maybe he took my ball," replied Jack, sighing with relief. Time to plan. So, as we know, we are going to be using the structure of the story Howl, and you're going to be changing this story to be about your own character who changes into an animal, and then something exciting happens. So first of all, I have got these post-it notes on my screen, like we do in class. You're probably not going to be able to do this at home. So what you're going to do instead, you're going to just copy down 1 like that, and then I want you to put the name of your character. So for this first bullet point, you're going to put somebody's name. So it could be Peter, it could be Ahmed, it could be Jessica, okay? It could be any name there. And then you're going to put where they are. So 1 or 2 words, for example, classroom at school, park. You could say they're at the zoo. So you're going to choose where they are. And then you're just going to say why they are there. So for example, if I'm going to make up a different story than Howl. I'm going to talk about a girl and she changes into a butterfly. So I'll put her name, Jessica. Where? At her friend's house. Why? She's gone there to play. So you press pause while you do this section of your story. Okay, so next you're going to decide the setting where they are, what it's like. So for my example, Jessica, she is at her friend's house and she goes upstairs to the bathroom. Okay, so I'm going to say she can smell. So the setting would be bathroom. I'm going to say she could smell some flowers upstairs. There are some roses in a vase. Sounds. She can hear the television downstairs and she can hear her friend's brother playing video games. Sights. I'm going to say maybe there is a blue carpet. There are black curtains. I'm not going to say any tastes. If your character is eating something, then you could have that. And for touches, I'm going to say how upstairs was slightly colder than downstairs. She could feel the cold air on her skin and the springy carpet underneath her feet. So wherever your character is, you're going to just come up with 1 or 2 things. This is to help you write your description. Obviously, we're not writing our story today. We're just coming up with words. So press pause while you do that. Alright, so for the next one, you're going to think about how your character changes. So my character, she is a girl and she's going to change into a butterfly. So I'm going to just put things like shrink. So think about your animal. Is it bigger than a human or smaller than a human? A butterfly is smaller, so I'm going to put shrink. I'm going to put wings grow. Okay. She gets antenna coming out of her head because she's becoming a butterfly. I don't know. Yeah, that's how you spell it. An antenna appear. Okay. And then what else can I put? She gets huge eyes. Butterflies have huge eyes, etc. And then this part, if you remember in Howl, our character is in the park and he goes into some trees and he sees his reflection and he realizes that he's become a wolf and he sees his reflection in a puddle. Now, my character, this made up example, she goes up to the bathroom. So I'm going to say bathroom mirror. So wherever your character is, can you think of something shiny that they can see themselves and then they realize they are a butterfly or a wolf or a dog? So press pause while you do that. So number 4, we're going to think about the danger that they face. The danger has to be suitable to the animal they've changed into. So in my particular example, the one about Howl that I gave earlier, people realise that there is a wolf, so they phone the police, and the police want to take the wolf to the zoo and shoot it with an tranquilizer. That's the danger that they're going to have for a wolf. So if you've got a dangerous animal, it might be something like that. But in this example, it's a butterfly. No one's going to phone the police about a butterfly. However, I'm going to say that she flies out of the bathroom window and she gets stuck in a spider's web. That's quite an exciting thing. And then I will write a paragraph about the spider getting closer and closer and she's flapping and flapping. Or maybe a bird comes down, swoops down to try and eat the butterfly. See how I'm choosing a danger that is related to a butterfly. So whatever animal that your character has changed into, think about how they will escape and what's exciting. So think about tension and excitement. You want to make it look like something really bad's going to happen. So what happens to make it exciting? The spider in this case is trying to eat the butterfly. Press pause while you do that. All right, so how do they escape the problem? Right? I'm going to say spider is about to eat them, but a bird swoops down and eats spider. And then I'm going to say that the bird is about to eat the butterfly, but it gets free, flies back in the bathroom window, changes back into a girl. Right? So there you can see how I have magpied this example. I have taken the story structure, boy or girl changes into an animal, they're somewhere, nobody sees them change, then they come back, then they get into a small adventure, they get out of it, and that's the end. It's very simple. So I'm really looking forward to seeing your plans, and then tomorrow we can start writing the actual story. So thanks for taking part in this lesson.